everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. And before we dive into today's Kiki, which is, oof, you guys, we have questions. We have some questions about the validity of Dorit and PK's alleged home invasion. We are going to get into it, guys. We're going to get into it. So I'm going to first do some background on the, alleged robbery. After that, we'll get into some of the allegations, and then we'll get into the questions around it and what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, and then we can just talk about it. But before we do that, you guys know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because a kiki and a good conspiracy is always better with community. Check out our description box down below and shop our love collection. As always, everything in my videos are alleged, rumored, and opinion-based. All audio, video, and image content is protected by the Fair Use Doctrine. Okay, so I want to get that out of the way. So I want you guys to rock with me, my candy canes. I'm going to walk you through my case. Again, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying this is fact. I'm not saying this is the truth. I'm just saying this is my opinion. I'm going to walk you through my opinion on why I think we might have to take a second look at the claims of the validity of Dorit and PK's robbery. And then at the end, my beautiful candy canes, we can talk, we can have a kiki. So you're going to want to stay through because I'm going to walk you through everything, okay? Now, part one, let's just get some background on the robbery. So this is from people.com. So I'm going to walk through the background of the robbery, then I'll walk us through the allegations, then I'll walk us through some questions, and then I'm going to walk us through why I think this may not be up to snuff, okay? Just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page. All right, so this is from people.com, and this is just background on the robbery. It says, Dorit Kemsley says robbers who invaded her home are still at large. Quote, I'll get through it. In October, 3 male intruders broke into the Kemsleys' home while the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star and her 2 children were sleeping. Dorit Kemsley is waiting for closure. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star said the robbers who invaded her home haven't been caught yet. When Andy Cohen asked Kemsley, 45, if there have been any arrests during a conversation on Wednesday's night's Watch What Happens Live, she responded, no, not yet. I don't believe so. In October, 3 male intruders broke into Kemsley's residence. She was in the home with her son, Jagger 7, and daughter, Phoenix 5. Her husband, Paul P.K. Kemsley, was out of town. The 2 children slept through the encounter, and Kemsley confirmed they still have no knowledge of the break-in. Authorities told People there were no injuries and a, quote, unknown amount of property was taken from the residence during the incident. During the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 12 premiere on Wednesday, Kemsley recounted the terrifying encounter to her fellow housewives. She explained having a gun to her head as the men contemplated her fate, okay? She remembered saying, please, please, I have little babies. Please, I'm a mother. Please, I beg of you, my kids need me. I was begging, and the other guys are going, just effing kill her, just effing kill her, she added. Kemsley told Cohen watching the episode brought her emotions and fears back to the surface. Obviously, it's a particularly difficult time because I'm reliving it, and there's a lot that's resurfacing, but I'll get through it. I know I will, she said. She added that, first and foremost, I'm so grateful that myself and my family are safe. After viewing the episode, some Real Housewives of Beverly Hills fans questioned why Kemsley's security system wasn't triggered by the intruders. Kemsley's detailed why she didn't turn the system on at all. I have small children. They get up in the middle of the night and usually come to my room, she told Cohen 53. If I put the alarm on, and the reason why I don't or I hadn't before is because they could drift downstairs and then the alarm would go off. She ended the conversation with another moment of gratitude, this time for the surprise sense of composure during the alleged. I love how People Magazine said alleged, right? Because People Magazine don't play. Alleged invasion. That right there is a huge sign. Okay, let's keep going. She ended the conversation with another moment of gratitude, this time for the surprise sense of composure during the alleged invasion. I'm grateful that I was able to be level headed, she said, because I look back and think, my gosh, it could have gone 100 different ways. Okay, so that is the background on the home invasion. A couple of things I want you to remember. Remember that she said that they had a gun. Remember that she said that the reason why she didn't have her alarm on was because her kids like to come into her bed and they could drift downstairs. Doesn't make sense, but we're going to get into that, okay? Now, also for background, let's watch the segment that they did during part 1 of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion, where they detailed Dorit's home invasion, okay? So let's watch that now, you guys. All right. And here we go.
Dorit's life was turned upside down during a terrifying home invasion. But even after the event was over, much of the trauma was just beginning. Watch.
One second, you guys. Just a little tech glitch. Don't worry. Okay, well, we'll watch that. No, I want to watch it now. I don't know why it's not working. One sec, you guys. We're going to get it. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to get this fixed. We're going to watch it. I did a whole run through and it worked during the run through. Don't worry. We're going to watch it. I promise. One sec, you guys. So sorry. Okay, well, while that's figuring itself out, we can still move on to the other pieces and we'll watch it once it's ready because there's a lot to go over. So don't worry, guys. We will still definitely watch it. Okay, now let's move on to the next section, which is the allegations. So now that we know the background of what allegedly happened during the robbery, let's get into the allegations of it all and the different inconsistencies. Now, this is according to Screen Rant, okay? This is according to Screen Rant. We're going to get into the inconsistencies of the robbery. So it says, why some fans think Dorit Kemsley faked the robbery. We're going to get into it. Dorit Kemsley is sharing the trauma she suffered after her home invasion, but the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills fans are questioning her claims, okay? And if you can't see the screen, don't worry. I'm going to read through and then we will go over every point. We'll have everything covered. As Dorit Kemsley relives her traumatic robbery on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, fans are starting to suspect the validity of her claims. Dorit made media headlines last October after being robbed at gunpoint inside of her Encino, California home. Her husband, PK Kemsley, was out of town at the time of the robbery, but Dorit and her children were unharmed during the attack. Filming was underway at the time, and Dorit's primary focus in season 12 is healing from the disturbing encounter. Dorit has been in an emotional wreck while recounting the events of the night's robbery. Her two young kids were asleep in their rooms when two masked robbers broke into her home through the kids' classroom window. Holding Dorit at gunpoint, the men took everything they could get their hands on before fleeing the scene. One robber was kind enough to leave Dorit's cell phone by her gate, Dorit recalls, pleading for her life and asking the robbers not to hurt her or her children, okay? The ladies have been supportive of Dorit as she works to heal the traumatic experience. However, as the season progresses, some viewers are starting to question whether Dorit's home invasion was as authentic as she claims. One episode shared Dorit's therapy session where she tried to open herself up to put the robbery behind her. During her confessional, Dorit cried while explaining how the trauma is impacting her life, but fan page Coronavirus noted how Dorit had no tears despite crying on scene. Still not convinced the burglary was real, they added. In a separate tweet, the viewer noted the different accounts PK and Lisa Rinna gave on what exactly was stolen, with PK claiming only handbags were taken, while Lisa added that wristwatches were also supposedly taken. How would you forget the details like that of your own burglary? The fan asked. They went on to note that Dorit's account at Lisa's house the day after the robbery took place was different to the news reports, okay? It's also different to another report, but we're going to get into it, okay? Now, others noted how no 911 audio was released, which is something typically leaked when a celebrity is a victim or involved with the crime. That's huge. Why was there no 911 audio leaked or released? I actually think 911 calls are public domain, I believe. Okay, back to it. Many accused Dorit of being scripted in season 12 and seemingly orchestrating her home invasion as a storyline for the show. Fans were convinced that Dorit was on the chopping block after season 11 due to not having much of a storyline. Outside of her small quarrel with Garcelle Bouvet, Dorit didn't have much going on last season. Now with Dorit being robbed while the show was in production, the attack has become her central focus in season 12. Dorit will most likely get questioned about the robbery at the reunion. With her making the home invasion her storyline this season, Andy Cohen will throw questions at her based on what fans are saying, as more viewers begin to question how sincere Dorit's claims are. The speculation could likely surface at that time. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills fans wanted to see more from Dorit this season, but not if it meant possibly faking a home invasion. Okay, now before we go through this, let's see if that video is going to play for us. Come through. Let's see if it's going to play. One sec, you guys, okay? Just one sec.
His life was turned upside down during a terrifying home invasion. But even after the event was over, much of the trauma was just beginning. Watch.
I thought, this is it. This is how I'm gonna die.
A shattered glass patio window, the aftermath of what investigators describe as a violent home invasion, where as many as 3 men broke into Dorit Kemsley's Encino home.
All of a sudden I hear the door open, and I thought,
You're like, my kids.
my kids. So I get out of my bed, And that's when I saw not a little person, but a big person. Get down to the f***ing ground! I'm gonna f***ing kill you! Sobbing, going, please, please, I have little babies. Please, I'm a mother. Please, I beg of you. My kids need me. Please, 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 please. My kids need me. I need you. Please. I don't know how you recover from that.
I can't stand the fact I wasn't there.
I will always thank God for protecting me and the kids. I don't care about the material stuff. I don't care. I never will. I don't care.
I'm just gonna get my phone. Left my phone.
Find the phone.
Hard to relive all that.
Yeah, it is.
How has your life changed since all this happened?
Oh, my God. One of the things that happens in trauma that people don't realize is that there's no aspect of your life that's not touched. I've had issues in my marriage, and I have a wonderful marriage. It does something to your confidence as a mom. You feel depleted. It's hard to get out of bed some days. I mean, you're grieving the loss of who you were before.
You had such a big reaction to this. Why?
I'm very close with Dorit and PK and the babies. And we're right around the corner. I can walk to Dorit's house. So to think that Mauricio and I, we were sleeping and she was just home there going through this, it was just very, very upsetting to me.
I'm so impressed that you were able to keep your cool. Where do you think that came from?
In that moment, my instinct kicked in, and it was a mama instinct. And I just thought if I made them feel like I could help them and I wasn't a threat, then I could save my babies, and that's all I wanted to do.
And it worked.
And it worked.
Incredible. I know you got a lot of support. There were also naysayers. Who leaves the cell phone near the gate so you could call the cops? Sarah V shared a theory that PK orchestrated the robbery as an insurance scam.
Andy, I mean, I'm struggling with trying to get out of bed in the morning. I'm certainly not paying any attention to this. You know, this isn't something that you can orchestrate. I know what I've been through, and I was very lucky.
Yes.
Very, very lucky. There's not a single day that goes by that I don't remind myself of that.
Why do you think they let you have your phone back?
I was very, very calm. I showed them where everything was. And I said, please, please, I beg of you, I have to call my husband. Just please leave my phone. And he said, I'll leave it at the gate. And he did.
Any leads on catching these guys?
It is still an open investigation, unfortunately.
Have you replaced any of the stolen items?
I would never do a repeat purchase, but, you know. Come on, please.
Right.
Obviously, directly after, you know, I didn't have the desire. Am I boring you?
No, I'm sorry.
Are you kidding me?
I am sorry.
Again?
I am really
2 years
sorry.
in a row,
I am a
Andy?
yawner.
I am long-winded, but I don't feel like I hijack conversations. Am I boring you?
I'm sorry. I just swallowed a yawn, but you are not boring me.
This topic is a lot harder for me than it is for you, Andy.
No, I understand. Oh, my God. Please continue.
I take day by day. You know, there are the days that I'm really great, and then all of a sudden I have some really bad days, and I'm navigating through it.
PTSD.
I have diagnosed PTSD.
You guys know that just recently we were...
Okay, you guys, let's get into the inconsistencies of this whole situation, okay? Let's get into it. So, first things that people are saying and speculating that there's no tears when it comes to Dorit. She tries to act in the confessionals. She tries to act at the reunion, but she's supposed to be so traumatized, but yet she can't muster a genuine tear. If there is somebody who had you at gunpoint to your head with your sleeping children, and when you recount that, you don't have a single tear, I think the only time she had tears was when she was doing the AMSR with the lady in the therapy session, but that also seemed really faked and seemed really forced and did not seem genuine. She's also been accused of faking her PTSD symptoms. People are saying who actually have PTSD is saying it seems like she read a book of this is what happens when you have PTSD, and she's trying to mimic it, and she doesn't actually have it. There's inconsistent stories from what Dorit says versus what PK says versus what Lisa Rinna recounted, and different news reports. We're going to get into, remember the news report? We're going to get into that right after we go through this section. We'll get into some more information on that. It goes from 2 robbers to 3 robbers, back and forth. There's a bunch of weird stuff going on. People are also saying, well, why would she do this? Number 1, she needed a storyline for season 12. Allegedly, she was on the chopping block. She didn't really have anything to talk about. She had nothing going on. She was, boring ding dong Dorit. And she really needed a hook. She needed a storyline for season 12. And this is what it would be. Don't look at my husband's fraud. Don't look at our bankruptcy. Don't look at, our lawsuits. Woe is me. I'm the victim of this robbery. Wow, 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 right? And then people are also saying this is a money scheme. It's a money grab. It's an insurance scam for PK in order for him to pay off his debts. Don't forget, he had a ton of lawsuits against him, and people were coming after him to recoup their money. Now, another big question is the security alarm, right? Why was it turned off? Even though Dorit and the kids were home, her explanation really doesn't make any sense. There is a thing called the stay function on any basic, regular, and I'm sure they are supposed to have like a high-tech security alarm that is made specifically for when you are at home, but you still want to keep your house safe and you still want to keep your house secure. So why would she, turn off the security alarm when PK is out of town and are not there? Her excuse doesn't make sense. There's also been claims that she's trying to protect the connection between her and Teddy Mellencamp and Teddy Mellencamp's Eddie's security company. Don't forget, that is the same security company that allegedly installed Kyle Richards and Mauricio's security when they had their robbery. So they're saying like, oh, she's saying the security wasn't on. No, it wasn't Teddy's husband who did it. But at the end of the day, it really was. She's trying to distance herself from the Teddy stuff because, it would be too much of a coincidence if Teddy's husband did the security for Kyle, they got robbed, and then literally a year later or a couple of years later, the same exact thing happens to Dorit. So there might be some type of cover up there. Also in question, why did the robber break the largest window in their home? That to me seems very sloppy. If you are in this, Encino neighborhood where they have all of these big mansions and all of these cars and wealth and money, clearly you think other people have security. Clearly you think other people have cameras. You think the best way to break into somebody's house is by shattering the largest window they have? I thought robbers were supposed to be quiet and stealth. I thought robbers were supposed to be, you know what I mean? They were supposed to try and make as little noise and call as little attention to themselves as possible. To me, it seemed like a stunt. It seems like they planned to break into that big window that's right underneath that security camera to make it look good, to make it look legit so they could have that footage. But speaking of that, how come the floodlights didn't come on? So you have all this security, but the only footage you have is just sort of like grainy CCTV footage in the dark. Why did your floodlights not come on? We see the lights in the footage, but they did not come on. Why weren't they triggered? So if you know that you allegedly turned off all of the security in your house, even though you and your children were the only ones there, which makes no sense, why would you not at least turn on your security lights? Why was no security light turned on? Okay. Also, why would the robber agree to leave her cell phone by the door? I don't think that there is a kind enough robber out there that came armed and ready with guns to your house, ready to shoot you, ready to shoot your kids, all of a sudden would be like, you know what, Dorit, you're a good gal. Let me just leave your cell phone right by the door so you can go ahead and call the police on us. That makes zero sense. 0 cents. There is no way you sweet talked the robber who was ready to shoot you in your head for a Birkin bag into leaving your cell phone delicately and lightly right by the front door. Makes 0 sense. But keep rocking with me, guys. There is more to come. There is more to come. Okay. So the robbers allegedly brought guns, but they didn't bring any bags to take the stolen goods in. The robbers literally came either A, empty-handed, as we see on the footage, and we'll see again, or they came with a backpack. So you're telling me that these robbers had the wherewithal to case your house, know that everybody was supposed to be out of town. That was another thing. We'll get into that. But they didn't bring anything to take anything with? It just doesn't make any sense. They didn't bring a bag. They didn't bring anything. They just came with a nice little knapsack and empty hands. Makes no sense. Next, the demeanor of the robbers. And this is really important, and remember this because this is going to play into what I get into in a little bit. The demeanor of the robbers, they were casual, they were too comfortable, they were just kind of chit-chatting by the window like, oh, you think it's this one? Yeah, I think it's this one. How about we do it here? Yeah, no problem. The energy, their demeanor was too calm and too comfortable and way too casual. There was no sense of urgency. They didn't seem scared. They didn't seem to have any type of adrenaline. It just seemed like this was just a regular day, regular smegular day. Their energy was way too casual. Remember that demeanor, you guys. It's going to play in again. Okay. Also, why was some of the robbers wearing C-19 masks instead of ski masks? Like, if I'm about to break into somebody's house and steal allegedly millions of dollars worth of stuff, the last thing I'm worrying about is C-19. I'm going to really do my whole face. Not just, that part, the lower part of my face. That just also seemed really weird to me. Now, let's get into some more questions, okay? Some more questions. So, allegedly, the robbers were casing their house. They knew that PK was out of town. He was in London. And allegedly, this is what they're saying, they thought the family was out of town. So, if they thought the family was out of town because they were casing the house, how did they know that the security alarm was off? In my mind, I'm thinking, well, if the whole family is out of town, then of course they're going to have their security alarm on to protect the empty house while they're away. So logically, that doesn't make sense. And as we saw in the footage, the robbers broke in with a huge, like the biggest window they had. That's how the robbers got inside. It wasn't like they knew the security code. It wasn't like they did any type of 007 where they were able to bypass the security code. They were like, oh, this house is empty. It must mean there's no security. Tonight's the perfect night. Makes no sense. They must have had a heads up. It must have been planned that they knew there would be no security alarm activated. It's just logic. Okay. We talked about this again before. Also, why would Dorit, knowing she's home by herself with her children, leave her and her children exposed? There's a stay alarm option on all alarms. So if PK was out of town, why wouldn't she put the stay alarm on? So even if the kids wandered down to the bottom, that would be fine. There's different levels of security options, and the stay alarm is for exactly that, when the family is home, but you still want to protect your family. And like Dorit likes to tell us, she's such a fierce mama bear. What fierce mama bear leaves her entire family exposed? Again, doesn't make any sense, okay? And again, was Dorit protecting Teddy? Did Eddie's security team do the install? People were saying yes, then they came out and said no. Who knows? You know what I mean? These people like to lie and do whatever. But now let's get into some more, right? Let's do a little bit of a deeper dive into the situation. Now, we saw the footage that Bravo released, right? But I found footage from, I believe it's ABC7. So ABC7 did a story on the break-in, and they show more footage. And when I saw the footage, you guys, I had more questions. So let's watch and then we will discuss, okay? Here we go.
We have breaking news at 11. Real Housewives robbers caught on camera. It was a terrifying night for a star of the hit show as armed bandits stole thousands of dollars in valuables. Tonight, the LAPD releasing crystal clear news surveillance video that could help bring them to justice. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter live for us in Encino with that late-breaking new information. Leanne.
Mark, that's right. That surveillance video truly is crystal clear. All three suspects caught on camera. Cops certainly hoping it will be the break they need in the case. The brazen home invasion robbery of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Dorit Kemsley captured on camera. Police hoping the pictures will lead them to the suspects.
I need to know something, Camille.
The 45-year-old reality star was home during the terrifying crime October 27th. Police say the gunman threatened to kill her as she pleaded for her life, her children asleep in their rooms. In the video, the two suspects are seen calmly walking up to the large Encino home. It appears they discussed their plans at the back door before breaking in. Investigators say they made off with expensive handbags and luggage like this, as well as jewelry and watches. Kemsley has more than 1 million followers on Instagram, the reality star often sharing images of her wealth and extravagant lifestyle.
Love it.
This video shows the star in her driveway behind the wheel of a high-end sports car. The suspect's stash in the robbery so large they dragged it out in a sheet, hauling it over the bushes to the street. Kemsley isn't the only Real Housewife who has been targeted.
Every single piece of jewelry or handbag you see on this season is gone.
In 2018, Kyle Richards, another star on the long-running show, was robbed of more than $1 million worth of jewelry and other valuables when thieves broke into her Encino mansion. The LAPD hoping this clear video of Kemsley's robberies will be the key to cracking the case. One of the two suspects seen wearing a distinctive pair of fancy shoes in addition to the black hoodies and dark pants. A third suspect also seen leaving the home and then backing up the getaway vehicle, a black four-door pickup. The trio disappearing into the night. Of course, if you recognize any of those suspects or that getaway vehicle, you are urged to call the LAPD.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content.
All right, you guys, did you catch how even the lady said they calmly walked, they chatted about, what was happening, and there was so much exposed in that video that I thought, I wonder what the police report would look like, right? Is the police report going to reflect what we just saw? Well, happy I asked because I found the police report. Okay, I found the police report. Let's read it, and I'm going to read it in case you guys can't see it. It says, on October 27th, 2021, at approximately 10:50 p.m., 3 suspects wearing dark hoodies broke into the victim's residence on the blank. I'm not going to dox her. The victim was in the residence at the time and was met by the suspects. The victim was in fear and complied with the suspects' demands by directing them to valuables. The suspects took handbags, jewelry, and watches with a significant monetary loss and fled the location in a black truck. The suspects are described as 3 male blacks, 20 to 30 years of age, wearing black hoodies and dark pants. Okay. Now, this is public information. Anyone can go find this police report. I had some questions about the police report. So we all just watched the footage, and to me, the police report, there's some inconsistencies, okay? So, Dorit's story in the footage versus what the LAPD police report said. So, Dorit has always said it was 2 masked robbers. But as we see in the footage and as we see in the police report, it's 3. You might think, oh, maybe just, her memory's messed up. She doesn't remember 2 versus 3. But I sure as hell would know whether it was 2 versus 3 robbers who broke into my home with me and my children. As we saw in the footage, the robbers were wearing light to dark gray hoodies. But in the police report, they said that they were wearing black hoodies. Now, you might be like, Candy, why does this matter? Well, I think it matters when you're trying to find people who allegedly broke into somebody's home at gunpoint with their children in home and stole allegedly millions and millions of dollars. You think that in the police report, they would do an accurate description of each robber. One of the robbers looked like maybe they did have on like a darker black one when it wasn't in the light. But when they were on camera, it looked like their hoodies were light, dark gray, whatever the situation was. I wouldn't have called them black, okay? And obviously the police have this footage because they're the ones who gave it to the news report, right? Also in the footage, they're wearing backpacks. This is not mentioned in the police report. And I don't know about you, it seemed like maybe one of them, the one that it seemed like was in the black hoodie, he may have been black. But as far as the other ones, I don't know if they were white. I don't know if they were Hispanic. To me, you couldn't tell exactly what their race was. So why did it say in the police report 3 black males, 20 to 30? Isn't it convenient? Don't they always say, oh, it was the black guy did it. The black guy robbed me. The black guy kidnapped me. I don't know about you, but in that footage, it was not clear that all 3 of those men were black. It just wasn't clear. And again, I don't know why the police report did not do a better job at describing all 3 individuals, right? So those were some inconsistencies and those were some, alleged lies. But you might think, well, why would they do this? Why would the LAPD not have all of the information, right? Well, I live in California, so I just want to say this. I love and respect the LAPD, but we have to talk about PK's past. Because you might think, why would the footage clearly show inconsistencies with what the police report said? Let's not forget PK's DUI situation, right? How come he had no charges? Why did the LAPD give him a personal escort home? We can't forget the Girardi connection. Erica Jane's son is a cop. And then also, allegedly, Tom Girardi also had, maybe he had some cops on the payroll. Now, I'm not saying this is true. I'm not saying I even believe this. I am just putting up questions as to why the police report is very sparse. It's very vague. It does not reflect what we saw with our own eyes on the footage. I'm just confused, right? I'm just confused. And I want to tell you what and there were 2 things. There were 2 things that really stood out to me that was not in the police report and that was in the footage. The first one, it's almost like dumb criminals, okay? This to me is a huge red flag. And then I'll get into the second huge red flag, okay? What criminal wears designer slippers to a robbery? These must be, in the words of Dorit Kemsley, the chicest robbers you've ever heard of. And why was this left out of the police report? When you have different logos or insignia or things that are on people's persons or clothes or bodies, why wouldn't they put that in the report? Why wouldn't they put that on the alert so that we could know, oh, if I see a guy wearing, this symbol on his hoodie or this symbol on his slippers, maybe that's him. But just saying 3 male blacks, 20 to 30, a black hoodie and dark pants when none of them were wearing black hoodies. And honestly, I can't confirm any of them were black, except for maybe one of them. But you're gonna tell me that I'm a criminal. I'm gonna go into my black truck. I'm gonna have all my guns. I'm gonna go break into somebody's house in designer slippers or whatever these things are. You know what I mean? These mules. They're not concerned about having to jump a fence. They're not concerned about having to run away from, the husband if he's in the house. They're not concerned from having to run away from, I don't know, the police or a security dog. They're just going to casually, because remember I told you, even the woman on ABC, the reporter said, oh, the robbers calmly walked to the house and they looked like they chatted and contemplated about what they were going to do. It has been a common thread how casual and how comfortable. These robbers were so comfortable, they wore designer slippers to rob a house. I don't wear designer slippers to go on a walk around the neighborhood. And you're going to tell me that these robbers decided this was the footwear to go rob a house? Who wears designer slippers to a robbery? And again, why was all of this left out of the police report? Doesn't make sense, okay? Now, if you're like, you know what, Candy, maybe people do just wear comfy shoes when they're gonna go and rob a mansion. Okay, but we're gonna put on our candy cane critical thinking hats. And this to me is one of the most damning things. To me, maybe to me. I want to know what you guys think, right? But why? Why? Actually, you know what? Before I say what it is, let's read the police report again. We're going to read the police report, and I want to know, put it in the chat box, if you can spot what the police left out of this report that is very, very suspicious. Whether the police left it out or whether Dorit left it out, we may never know. But let's read the police report again, and then we're going to see what was left out. Okay? Now, here we go. It says, on October 27th, 2021, at approximately 10:50 p.m., 3 suspects wearing dark hoodies broke into the victim's residence on the blank blank. The victim was in the residence and at the time and was met by the suspects. The victim was in fear and complied with the suspects' demands by directing them to valuables. The suspects took handbags, jewelry, and watches with a significant monetary loss and fled the location in a black truck. The suspects are described as 3 male blacks, 20 to 30 years of age, wearing black hoodies and dark pants. Okay, what was the biggest omission in that police report? I'll tell you. Why did they leave out that these men allegedly had guns? Listen, this is the thing, you guys. Even though we're in 2022, there is no way in hell you are going to convince me that the LAPD would leave out the fact that 3 armed black men who allegedly just robbed a beautiful, wealthy white woman in Encino, that they would just happen to leave that fact out of the police report. That is in my opinion, that's a damn lie. There is no way you have 3 black men with guns who threatened the life of white Dorit Kemsley while her 2 white children were sleeping in her house in Encino, which is a very, very white neighborhood. And you're going to tell me that the only thing the police are going to say is, oh, you know what? 3 black men in their 20s to 30s wearing hoodies and jeans. If you have anything, let us know. There was no mention of a gun or a weapon or the suspects being armed and dangerous. I don't know about you, but I don't know where they would do that. Where would they leave out the fact that these 3 Black men allegedly had guns? Not only had guns, but allegedly, like Dorit has said multiple times, held the gun to her head. They said, kill her, just shoot her. She had to plead for her life. And you're going to tell me that one detail they're going to leave out of their police report? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Wouldn't they say or put a bulletin out, hey, 3 Black men armed and dangerous just threatened the life of a woman that they invaded their home of, children on the premises? Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Why would the LAPD leave the fact out of their report that these 3 Black men allegedly had guns and threatened the life of Dorit Kemsley? It simply doesn't make sense. But you know what does make sense? The payoff. The payoff. So everyone was saying, oh, PK did this for an insurance scam to pay off his debts. Well, you know what? That tracks, because in October of 2021, this is when the robbery goes down, okay? And a couple of months later, November, December, 3 months, January, PK pays off his $2 million debt to the Las Vegas Bellagio Casino. This is a debt he has had since 2013. So you want to tell me that it is a coincidence that his home gets invaded on October 2021, and 2.5 months later, or 3 months, let's just say 3 months, 3 months later, he pays off a $2 million debt that he has had for over 9 years? That doesn't look suspicious? If you had the money to pay it off, he would have paid it off in the last 9 years. But all of a sudden, he gets this windfall from the robbery. A robbery, mind you, where the robbers brought designer slippers. They brought the chicest slippers to go into, or mules, or whatever those were, to rob the house, right? The robbery where they're kind and calm robbers, and they just decide to give Dorit her phone back in case she wanted to call her husband, right? Come on. The robbery where there was no alarm system and there was no security lights, even though she was home by herself with her children. Now, let's read the article that breaks down how PK paid off his debt right after the robbery break-in. This is from Reality Blurb. It says, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Dorit Kemsley's husband PK settles $2.27 million gambling debt with Las Vegas Casino. Okay? Dorit Kemsley and her husband PK had a terrible 2021. Side note, is it terrible if you get a insurance claim and now you're able to pay a $2.27 million debt? Okay. In October, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star was robbed at gunpoint. Side note, she was robbed at gunpoint. However, it was never mentioned in the LAPD police report that the robbers were armed. That doesn't make sense. I don't want to put everything down to race, but there is no way that you're going to go to the LAPD and you're going to say 3 Black men held a gun to a white woman's head while her white children were sleeping in her rich white neighborhood, and they're not going to mention the fact that they were armed and dangerous. It's just society. It's just common sense. Okay. Star was robbed at gunpoint in her LA home while her 2 children were sleeping. A month later, PK was arrested on suspicion of DUI. He said the charges were later dropped. Exactly, remember? The charges were miraculously dropped and he got a personal escort home from LAPD after blowing over the legal limit for drunk driving. Yet they said they didn't have enough evidence, even though PK himself admitted to it. And they had, I mean, there was a reason why his car got. Anyway, let's get back to it. According to legal papers attained by Radar, PK paid a massive debt to a Las Vegas casino. The owners of Bellagio Hotel and Casino told the court he provided $2.27 million, which settled the debt in full. So you're telling me you get robbed in 2021, 3 months later, after the insurance claim goes through and the payment clears, you're now able to pay $2.27 million in full from a debt you had from 2013? Okay. Because of this, Bellagio's lawsuit has officially concluded. PK was tied to the debt for almost a decade as he tried to pay it off. It all started in 2013 when Bellagio sued him for missing payments on a private payment plan. At the time, PK had given $875,000 before filing for bankruptcy in the UK. Don't forget, this bankruptcy is also tied to the whole thing with Barclays, how Barclays tried to sue him as well to get their $5 million back. The casino claimed PK never told them about the bankruptcy, and the discharge didn't apply to his $2.27 million debt. So basically what they're saying is PK tried to get rid of all of his debts by filing bankruptcy, but like a dumb criminal, he forgot to tell them. So since he did not tell Bellagio, he did not do the due diligence, they still could go after him for the money. Unlike Barclays, they tried to sue him, but they ultimately ended up losing because the bankruptcy would clear the debt. They eventually reached a settlement deal, which involved PK making payments until the summer of 2018. Unfortunately, Bellagio said he stopped making payments again. At that point, the casino asked for the debt to be paid in full. Bellagio made plans to garnish PK's wages until the balance was settled. This is a, quote, victory for PK and Dorit, who still owe $1.3 million in unpaid taxes. So you might think to yourself, what would cause a man to stage a home invasion with his wife and children at home? $2.27 million might just do it. $2.27 million in debt might just do it. They wanted to garnish his wages. They wanted it paid in full. The bankruptcy scheme didn't work on this debt. But magically, after his home gets invaded, he's able to clear in full that $2.27 million in debt. I don't believe in coincidences, guys. I really, really don't. But I want to know what you guys are saying in the chat box, what you candy canes are thinking. That is my case. I've laid it all out. I want to know what you guys think. I'm going to just start with some questions. I'm just going to start right here, and we'll get into it. All right. Tobias says, yeah, Dorit forgot that part where they threw bleach at her. It's not the same story. Exactly. Hey, Holly won't. Meanwhile, Kyle's rubbers have her number and zero respect for grandparents. Hey, Steve C. Diana's ex was an exec at Barclays. Yes, he was. Hey, Victoria. Real House of Beverly Hills has some very bad apples. They do. Hey, Carla's career. Hey, Carla, she goes right at Eileen. Motion sensors, lights, dog, alarm. None of that was working, but they were. Exactly. Dorit has dogs. There was no dogs. There was no floodlights. There was no alarm, nothing. And the robbers just conveniently happen to think that everyone's out of town. But this is the one night there will be no security dog, no security lights, and no security alarm on. Come on now. Bubble says, at Steve, stop it. No wonder. Joanne says, who thinks the faux Fox 4 know the truth? I think they all know the truth. That's why Erica keeps saying, we all have skeletons. You know, if we're going to talk about me, we're going to talk about it all. You know, that's why Erica keeps threatening to expose everybody. Tobias says, get on the floor. I'm going to effing killing. She came up with that herself, girl. Exactly. Lisa Gray says, y'all are robbing me of my attention. I can't read and pay attention to Candy. Hey, replay gang, just replay for all the bits. Hey, Steve C, did she ever pay those folks who did her Beverly Beach? We never heard of again. You know, I don't know. They were still trying to go after her. Maybe they did bankruptcy. I don't know. Hey, Foxy, why did Dorit marry this clown? Honestly, I feel like they work together. I feel like they're like a Bonnie and Clyde. You know, I think they're all in on it. They're all in on it. Hey, Tag, 3 hidden missing toes later, PK's casino debt is finally paid off. Exactly. Carla said 409, popping in this live. That's right, you guys. Get those likes up. It really helps. Definitely like and subscribe. Hey, Bubbles, I love when Camille told Dorky that her hubs owed her friend a lot of money. Exactly. I wonder which of these was Camille's friend. Me too. Hey, Michelle Cap, Kyle said her robber called her from jail and said her stuff was in her grandma's attic. Then she sent him money. Really? LOL. Michelle, if you missed my recap of exposing Kyle's alleged robbery, go back and watch that. I'll link that down below in this video, but I do a deep dive into Kyle's fraudulent robbery as well, because it doesn't make sense. If you are in jail and then you're saying, oh, I think that you guys are going to call the police. Well, wouldn't you call the police since the robber is already in jail? Doesn't make any sense, guys. Doesn't make any sense. Jersey Hill says, thank God for the robbery. That part. Hey, Steve C. Yes, 409 in here. Let it get those likes up. Oh, thank you so much. I want us to get this super chat before it goes. Thank you so much, Natalia, for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for holding me down, Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's right, you guys. Be sure to like the video. Hey, Sierra, she goes, you know you ghetto when you have casino debt in the millions, just low class. That part. Joanne says Beverly Beach is still available online. I looked it up. I won't be purchasing. Will you? Hey, Anita Hargrave. She goes, did Kyle get full refund for goods stolen and buy back cheaper? I don't think so. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know. Hey, Bubbles, how I joined the Candy fam. I've been here a while, and I think it's about time. Oh, yay! If you go into the description box, you can just hit the join community, and there should also be a button at the bottom that says join, and then you can join the Candy community. Thank you, Bubbles. Victoria says, Candy, you have found your calling in life. I mean, honestly, it's just common sense. It's like, if I'm a robber, am I going to be like, let me put on my designer mules? Let me put on my designer slip-ons. Let me put on my Kathy Hilton airport slippers to go do this job in case I have to run away from a dog or, I don't know, the police, jump a fence. Oh, you know, let me tell the world I was held at gunpoint by 3 black men, but yet the LAPD, they're going to leave that out. They're going to protect the suspects. They're not going to tell, you know, Encino that 3 black armed men are running around trying to rob white women and her children. Doesn't make sense. There's something off. Also, at least wait a little bit before you pay off the debt. You do your robbery in October 21, and then January 2022, you pay off almost $2.5 million in full? At least wait a second. But he was desperate. Okay. Hey, Tag, I think we solved it, Candy. It was Heather and the casino mob that did it in the library with the candlestick. Exactly. Thank you so much, Bubbles, for becoming a member. I appreciate you. We're also doing a members giveaway. So check the community tab and you'll see where you can enter for the members skincare and beauty giveaway. Bells London B says, Dorky, I'm dying here in London town. Best laugh all day. Yay, I'm happy I can make you laugh. Hey, Jersey girl, they absolutely would not leave a gun out of a police report. Exactly, because there are different levels of robbery, and that would be armed robbery. Thank you. Thank you. It would be armed robbery. And also, don't the police have a like a duty to alert the community that someone is armed and dangerous? Like, I believe, isn't that like some type of like duty? You have to like alert people that allegedly there are 3 black men running around your neighborhood with guns. Like, I think they like have to, right? There is a difference between 100%. Hey, Foxy. Foxy said that robbery surely helped PK out a lot, huh? I mean, that robbery was a blessing, wasn't it? Wasn't it? The Tusky and loafers. Exactly. Like the robbers were rocking loafers. Girl, bye. Josie tells us, thank God for the robbery. No more debt. That part. Thank you, Bubbles, for becoming a member. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for dropping the candy canes. Natasi says, right? He could have waited a little to not make it so obvious PK has no chill. This is the thing. I think he was, and again, everything in this video is alleged, rumored, opinion based. In my opinion, I think he was in a corner. I think he saw the walls closing in. You know, he couldn't use the bankruptcy scam to get out of this casino debt. He wasn't able to make the payments. They came after him, and then they said, we're going to garnish your wages. Who knows what the situation is? Maybe they wanted some Bravo money. I don't know what this, I don't know. Who knows? They were on the show during this time. You know, when people get on the show, the feds really like to get involved. People like to garnish stuff. I think he had his, was in a corner, right? He had his back to the wall. I think his back was to the wall, and that's why he made all of these sloppy mistakes. And that's why he couldn't wait to pay off the debt, because he was probably in over his head so much. But now it's too obvious. It's too obvious. Like, I'm sorry, you couldn't pay a debt off in almost 10 years, but the moment you get a home invasion, you're able to pay your debt off. Now, you might say, hey, maybe he's just smart with his money. He has a debt, he has a windfall. He's just going to go ahead and pay that off. This is the thing. You wouldn't be $2.5 million in the hole to a casino for 10 years if you were good with your money. You like, hello, it's crazy. Hey, Lisa at Tag, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Foxy says yes. Joanne says loafers look too small for Edwin when he left the scene with Teddy. That part. That part. Yes, Tag is laughing. Hey, LJ Forever. Columbo would have figured the sham robbery out on the spot. Sunday's best slippers at a robbery. That's what I said. I like, because quiet as his cat, the slippers were kind of cute, right? I was like, oh, those are chic. Those are some chic Kathy Hilton airport slippers. Those are chic. To rob a house. To rob a house. To rob a house. Ridiculous. Bubble says yes, because it keeps people alert and safe. Oh, thank you for that. I got a super chat. I'm going to try and find it real quick. Thank you so much, Victoria, for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so, so much. I appreciate that. Foxy says, but he is not smart with his money. Exactly. Holly won't said, when you don't live above your means and how secure we are financially and in life, you don't get yourself backed into corners like this. Exactly. Eileen said, PK running for his phone. Why? Because there's something incriminating on it? That part. And Dorit, girl. Did Erica and Dorit and Lisa Rinna all go to the same acting school? Like, they can never produce a genuine tear, and like the one-liners, like, I don't care about the material things. I don't care. I'll never care. Like, Dorit, shut up. Nobody believes you. You couldn't get a tear out. You look like you wanted to laugh half of the time. Like, no one is believing this. Like, no one's believing this. Tag said there's only one man that wore loafers in public. It's Hefner. Exactly. It's gotta be. He faked his death. The mob started taking PK's toes. And so he approved Hefner and the mob robbing him. That part. That part. Bubble says TMI, but I'm waiting for something to come out about PK and Dorit's marriage. Wise. I just don't see them doing the nasty. Ooh. Bloopity bloop bloop bloop. Hey, Foxy, he was desperate for the money. It seemed like they were in a really tight spot. Michelle Cap says, this really is the best. Love it. Opinions wrapped in facts. Yes, some opinions wrapped in facts. That part. That part. I mean, it's just the lies of it all. The lies of it all. Jersey Girl says, love your tea. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Natalia says, hi, Candy. I sent you something. I hope I got the right cash app. Let me check. Yes, I got it. Thank you so much, Natalia. I really appreciate that. Yes, you have the right cash app. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hey, Foxy, but she does care. LOL. I know, you guys. I mean, the scam of it all. The scam of it all. Lisa Gray says Dorit had the chic robbers. Like, did she style them before they came? And she told the police, oh, they were wearing black hoodies. But to me, they were like dark to light gray. Like, Dorit, girl. Dorit. Oh, Joanne says, Candy, you can act. I saw your movie, Narcissist. Oh my God, thank you so much, Joanne. I really appreciate that. You guys, if you want to watch my movie, it's called Narcissist. It's linked in the description box below. You can watch it on Amazon Prime Video. Thank you so much, Joanne. I really appreciate that. It's sending me hearts. Carla says, motion detectors, gated home, alarm and dog. Exactly. All not working. It makes no sense. Tag says, alternative comedy has the best cash app, just FYI. Thank you. Bubble says, what? You're in a movie I'm going to watch. Yeah, it's called Narcissist. It's linked below. It's on Amazon Prime Video. You can watch my movie. Yes. Oh, you guys, this has been so much fun. For everybody who just came in, I'm going to do a 30-second recap, okay? October 2021, Dorit alleges that she has always said 2, but now it's confirmed it's actually 3. 3 robbers broke into her house. Allegedly, she had no alarm system going. The dog wasn't woken up. The security lights never came on. They allegedly held her at gunpoint. And then after her so calmly showing them where to get everything, which they brought out in a bed sheet, because the robbers, as we've seen, casually wore designer slippers, casually wore designer loafers, calmly walked to the largest window that they could find in her house to break into. Somehow they are clairvoyant, and they just happen to know that this was the one night that no security would be on, and they could totally just get into their house easily. They just so happened to leave her cell phone right by the front gate so she could give her husband a ring or two. And then the LAPD police report just so happened to leave out a lot of really important details. Like, I don't know, that the suspects were allegedly armed and dangerous with guns. I don't know, that the suspects on camera did not appear to be all black. Some of them looked white. They could have been Hispanic. I don't know why they said black males. That's a whole nother video on race relations in America, whatever. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. And then miraculously in January 2022, after this home invasion, after, the 3 months that goes through with the insurance claim and the check clears, PK is miraculously able to pay $2.27 million to the Hotel Bellagio Las Vegas Casino, a debt he has carried for almost 10 years, a debt that he had defaulted on, a debt that they wanted to garnish his wagers and come after him, a debt that he absolutely had to pay, a debt that could not be erased by bankruptcy. His back was to the wall. But miraculously, 3 black men decided to rob their house and give them the gift of almost a $2.5 million insurance payout. You guys, you can't make this crap up. You really could not make this up. You're gonna tell me that the robbers came there with a knapsack and only one of them had a backpack. He had a little backpack. He had nothing in which to take all of these watches and handbags, quiet as it's kept, Dorit probably got the bed sheet. She probably picked out the pieces she wanted them to take and had it all wrapped up nicely for them. And they went in and they picked it up. They shot the shit for a bit, and then they left, and then she called the police. It's crazy. It's crazy. They literally brought nothing to take valuables away in. What are you gonna put in that knapsack? And the other two just calmly walked, nothing in their hands. Where was the gun? I mean, I guess they could have had it in their holsters, but I don't think there was a gun. If there was a gun, it would have been in the LAPD police report. Because that would have been armed robbery, and they would have had the duty to alert the community that there were allegedly armed men robbing people. So why wasn't in the why did they leave that out of the police report? And before we head out, you guys, who wears designer slippers to a robbery? I mean, he looks hella comfy. He looks hella comfy. Oh my God. BH Puff says, is this all for a storyline? That I feel bad for them. How pathetic and desperate you must be to do this. Life in complete shambles. I think it was for a storyline, and I think it was for the insurance money to pay that debt. I mean, 3 months later, you're able to clear a $2.27 million debt. It's crazy. Michelle goes, trash bags didn't match their designer slippers. Eileen says everything to fit PK clown shoes. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Tag says at Eileen, the wind chimes were the only thing not taken. Joanne says the only thing I believe is this showed them that she showed them where everything was. Exactly. Exactly, girl. You had to pick the robbers who were gonna wear designer slippers, designer mules. I'm sorry, you guys. It's honestly like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's laughable. It's laughable. Who wears these shoes to a robbery? It's crazy. Foxy says, I'm Michael Cap, right? Not chic enough. BH Puff says, clown shoes. Bubble says, what a prayer answer. Bubble says his backpack said all he needed was a nap. Exactly. Exactly. It's crazy. And Toski was just like, haha, she had it all ready to go. She had it all wrapped up in a nice little bed sheet, ready to go. You know, she was like, let me fix your plate. Here you go. Take one for the road, guys. Take one for the road. It's crazy. At least at Tag, they were too chic, even for the fancy felons. The fancy felons. I love it. And their LV holsters. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. From Amy Closet says, yes, such a nice robber's letting Dorit keep her huge diamond wedding rings. Exactly. And leaving her phone for her. That part. So she got to keep the wedding rings. She got to keep her phone. She packed up everything nice and neat in a bed sheet for them. They just so happened to break the biggest window they had. To me, that was a stunt. It was a stunt for the cameras. Absolutely. Holly Won't says, was it Egyptian cotton? What was the thread count, you know? Cause chic. Foxy says, oh my God, this is so funny. I mean, this is fun. This is a hoot. Tag says, Dorit tried to tell the robbers to take the chimes and go, but the chimes are still there. I love it. Foxy says, thanks, Candy, in the chat. That's right, you guys. Thank you, everybody in the chat. This has been so much fun. I don't mean fun talking about, you know, an alleged robbery and all of that stuff, but just, you know, fun to kind of break down the ridiculousness of it all. It's like, come on, you like, they didn't watch an episode of Murder, She Wrote or an episode of Law and Order or Columbo. Like, they couldn't do better than this. I'd crack this case in an afternoon. Like, what is happening, guys? But if you are having fun, be sure to like this video. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Joanne says his feet hanging off the back. Mad comfortable. Mad comfortable. Gwendolyn said that was PK in the slippers, one of the robbers by the door with the clothes looking at the camera like it was a female, aka Dorit, Kyle, Erica, or Lisa. That part. Joanne says, love you all. We love you too, Joanne. Marcus says, check my comment on your Venmo from me. Oh, thank you so much. Let me see if I have it. Okay, so Marcus says she should have let the casino break his legs. At least she'd finally have a solid storyline. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you so much for the Venmo. I really appreciate that. And that is true. That is very, very true. She would have had a solid storyline. And then her and Erica could go, date and find new men. Bubble says she wanted top of the notch robbers, but you got the bottom barrel. Oh my God. Diana says, why is PK always out of the country or, quote, working? She's trying to portray like he is busy, but something does seem fishy in their relationship. I agree. I mean, there's been rumors about PK, kind of pulling a Harry Hamlin in London. PK pulls a Harry Hamlin in Canada. People are saying PK is doing his thing, in London. So who knows? All right, you guys. DJF says, why not wheel out there with the Louis Vuitton luggage? Exactly. Anthony says, well done. Thank you, Candy. You're welcome. This has been so much fun. Natalia says, okay, look shady, and he's full of himself. That part. Marcus Oliver says, I'm fairly certain Boy George, his one and only client, was one of the two of the three, quote, robbers. Steve C says, is that they are doing more of this kind of nonsense on these shows and expect that we are stupid enough to believe it. Nope, I know. I mean, if it wasn't the police report inconsistencies, if it wasn't Dorit's story not making sense, it's the chic loafers. It's the chic loafers for me. Eileen says, at Tag, they wouldn't dare take that chic crime windchime, not with those shoes. I love it. Foxy says, true, something is fishy with their marriage. Maybe I will do a video on that, on their marriage. It was Boy George and the fancy loafers. Yes, on that note, my beautiful candy canes, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for holding me down. If you've had a good time, an easy and free way to support my channel is to like the video and share. Share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it in any group where you think people like conspiracy theories, Bravo TV, Housewives, pop culture. Just, share it. Sharing is caring. And you guys, I just want to say, my candy canes, I love you guys so much. We have the best time. I have the best community. We laugh. We keep it nice. It's just so much fun here. And I just appreciate every single one of you. And I love you guys so much. So don't forget to subscribe and join our candy cane community. If you want to join for free, you can subscribe. If you want to join our members group, you just click join and it's linked below. You can join that as well. But I just wanted to say, everybody, I love you so much. Thank you for joining me and hanging out. Watch out for chic robbers and fancy loafers. That is where I will leave it. All right, you guys, I love you, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.
Welcome to Sugar Pills, a practical guide to self-care, where your host, writer, actor, and producer Candy Washington helps you live a more joyful life with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. Be sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and join the conversation on Instagram @Candy Washington. Let's go.